Oehlbach Pro-In, the multimedia installation for your house. Within a short space of time, the high-definition multimedia interface HDMI has developed into one of the most important standards in consumer electronics. With the Oehlbach Pro-In HDMI connector, you can now finally assemble the exact length of cable for an optimal solderless signal transfer and installation. Despite having at least 19 strands, it can be assembled in only a few steps. We will show you how this is done. You will find the required tools in the Oehlbach toolbox. In addition to this, you need a heat source, such as a hot air blower. Please pay attention to the numbering of the bags for the small parts. Before shortening the cable to the desired length, allow a further 8 centimeters per connector in addition to this. This will be required for the assembly of the HDMI connector. Firstly, push the traction relief on the cable and remove 4 centimeters of the cable insulation. Divide the shield into individual loaders using an appropriate tool and gather these in 2 groups of core cables, 1/3 and 2/3. Cut the larger group of core cables directly on the cable insulation and shorten the other to 10 millimeters. Remove the shielding film as well as the transparent protection film. Shorten the colored protection films of the 4 high-speed data channels to a length of 6 millimeters. A data channel consists of 3 conductors. Push the black shrink tubing from bag number 1 on the blank shield conductor. Guide the transparent shrink tubing over the whole high-speed channel and over the remaining protection film. Warm the shrink tubing using the hot air blower. Please be careful to ensure that the other conductors are protected from the heat. Repeat this process for the other 4 high-speed data channels. Remove the assembly jaws from bags 2 and 3. Insert the individual conductors into the assembly jaws corresponding to the color code on the datasheet. Then, push the assembly jaws as far as possible onto the cable. The distance between the cable and the assembly jaws may not be longer than 18 millimeters, so that there is enough space in the connector casing. Take the inner part of the connector from bag 4 and place this between the assembly jaws. Make sure that it is in the correct direction. Using your hand, push the assembly jaws as hard as possible onto the inner part of the connector. Remove the protruding cable ends so that these finish flush with the assembly jaws. Now take the Oehlbach crimp tool. Finally, press the inner part of the plug and assembly jaws together. Make sure that the assembly jaws are lying on top of one another and do not move. This provides secure connectivity. Take the base part of the casing from the bag with logo number 5. Insert the assembled inner part into the casing. Place the circuit group of the shielding braid under the traction relief so that there is optimum contact to the metal parts of the connector casing. Use the enclosed short screws in order to attach the traction relief. Now close the connector with the other upper part of the casing and screw both parts together with the long screws. Finally, check that the connector is fully functional using the Oehlbach HDMI tester. The cable is now assembled. Oehlbach Pro-In. The path is the goal.